Morning. It is Tuesday. It is the 2022 version of September the 27th, maybe. These days fly by, don't they? How's everybody doing? You're back here with me, Sean Butler, at the Spurs Talk Show, and of course my impatient, demanding, but ultimately lovely co-anchor, Bugsy Malone, as we bring to you episode 53 or maybe 54 of Tottenham Walks. If you're new to the channel, then welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. Just want to say a shout out to everybody for leaving the comments and the engagement, the likes and the subscribers over the last week or two. It's been quite phenomenal. I really appreciate it. And as I always ask, if you don't mind, I do need to get that algorithm to be looking favourably upon the channel. I like to please them, and the way you do that is by asking wonderful people like yourselves to smash the like, to subscribe if you haven't, and to hit that notification bell. It does mean the world to me, guys. I really appreciate it. Also, if you don't mind dropping a comment at the end of the video and give me an answer to your thoughts on the topic. It's lovely getting to know you all over time, and I always try to respond to every comment. At least the ones I can understand. There's a lot of comments in different languages recently. And I'm not entirely sure what some of them say, so I'll just heart those ones and show my appreciation. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be talking about a couple of things really. The intention being to move into the goalkeeper conversation, because there has been some noisy gossip that seems to be getting a little bit louder about Tottenham's ongoing pursuit of a long-term replacement for Hugo Lloris. But I do also want to just quickly, before we move into that, touch on the welcome headache that Antonio Conte has for the big one on Saturday, the North London derby. Of course, we're going to be spending the majority of the week talking about that in various different tranches and different viewpoints. But for now, I just want to quickly reflect on, whilst it's recent, the performances of most of our international players over the weekend and over the last few days. Richarlison scoring a brace for Brazil, keeping his international colleague but local rival Gabriel Jesus out of the squad, which is brilliant to see, or out of the team, which is brilliant to see. And that performance from him was surely one that, you know, gives Conte something to think about when it comes to, if you want to play informed players, then Richarlison's up there following that performance. But then you look at Dejan Kulusevski for Sweden, that assist that he provided in his game on the weekend, absolutely magnificent. Another solid performance from him at international level. So more headaches for Conte. And then of course Sonny with that absolutely eye-watering free kick. Once again, three stunning free kicks. 3 free kicks for South Korea in as many matches, I think. It makes you wonder when it is exactly that we're going to see him start to take those for our team. And when Harry Kane will finally hold up his hands and say, I'm not that guy anymore. Well, we'll have to see. And then you move back in the team and you say, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. I mean, that performance for Denmark over the weekend, out of this world. Like, he is a champion of work rate, a powerful horse who just never stops working for his team. And it's no surprise to see those rumours, as nonsense as they probably are, about Real Madrid wanting to pay nearly 60 million quid to prize him away from Tottenham. I don't think there's any truth in that, but the guy is certainly not short of admirers. As a technician, a tactical player, a technical player, he may not be, you know, world class, but you'd be hard pushed to find midfielders who work harder for their team week in, week out, 365 days a year, and who, you know, rarely has any injury problems. So shout out to PEH. So for me, it's nice to see that most of our forwards, Harry Kane excluded, had wonderful performances for their international teams, and it does give us a lot to chew over the coming few days as we look forward to the Arsenal. We do have, of course, some injury concerns that we're not entirely up to date with yet. Ben Davies hurt his lower knee in the Sporting game. We're not sure if he's going to be returning from injury in time for the game. Personally, I wouldn't necessarily want him to start anyway. I'd want Longley in, but it'd be nice to have him on the bench should there anything untoward happen to Longley during the game. We don't know if exactly, mate, exactly. We don't know if Hugo Lloris is also going to return. He pulled out of the international week with France early. I think he had a calf injury or something. And we also don't know about Perisic's injury, because I think he came off in the first game, then I think he played 90 minutes in the second game, so we hope that he's fully fit as well. Good to see Ollie Skip get some minutes, and Jed Spence, and of course Ryan Sessegnon for the England under-21s, all put in good performances. And again, hopefully for someone like Jed Spence, you know, raise some awareness for his opportunity. From what I've read, I haven't seen the highlights, but I heard that Matt Doherty was pretty underwhelming against Scotland, and he struggled really with the pace of the game and was pretty ineffectual. So yeah, that's a bit frustrating to hear, as it would have been nice to see him come back from his injury and smash it, hit the ground running, and then give Conte some more options in the short term at right wing back. But we'll talk about more and more of this stuff over the next few days, guys. What I want to talk to you about today, 7 minutes in, is the pursuit of a new goalkeeper. So we've been linked with two players over the last couple of days. Illan Meslier, the Leeds goalkeeper, French keeper, 22 years old, 6'4", 6'5" inch tall, big guy, a lot of talent, and to be so young and be the #1 choice for a decent Premier League team shows you how much potential this guy has got. You know, 22 as a goalkeeper is like 16 in a Premier League outfield age kind of category. So lots and lots of hype about this guy. From what I've seen of him, he does look like he is capable of, you know, stunning feats of athleticism. Despite being a big guy, his positional play is pretty good. He likes to come and catch the ball as well. Not too sure about his distribution, something I have to keep an eye on. But it's interesting, and I like the fact that Tottenham are thinking right now. We spoke about this yesterday, or 2 days ago, about Paratici being in charge. He has the keys to the kingdom for our future. Success or failure of Tottenham will largely depend on the decisions that he makes with the people that he employs to scout, to train, to develop, and to get the best out of all of the new breed, the new generation of players that wear the Tottenham shirt. And look, Hugo Lloris is somebody that in a few years' time will be a memory, a fantastic memory, a legend of the club. He's already been here 10 years. His contract, which he just signed in January, I think expires at the end of 2 seasons' time. And so it's important that Tottenham do look for his replacement. Now, Tottenham have signed 2 goalkeepers in the last 2 seasons. One of them, Gollini on loan, who, you know, a fantastic character around the training ground and the dressing room, an amazing rapper by all accounts, but somebody that ultimately, when given the chance to wear a Tottenham shirt, didn't really set the world alight, especially thinking back to some of those goals that he was beaten by from long distance in the Conference League last season. So he got shipped back, and then this summer we signed FRASER FORSTER. You know, Premier League standard, big giant of a goalkeeper, 37 I think he is, so he's not going to be around for for too long either. But whilst he's here, he's somebody that I think we can have, you know, a little bit more confidence in. Should Hugo Lloris, for example, not make it back in time to play Arsenal, we hope that he will. But just in case he's not there, your hearts don't sink quite as much at the thought of having Fraser Forster in as it would have done having Gollini in. But obviously at his age as well, he's not really the future of Tottenham. He is somebody that is here to fill a gap for the time being whilst we look for that next guy. And Illan Meslier may be that man. I have no problems at all signing somebody of his age with his potential who's already proven to be more than capable at Premier League level, and with a better defence in front of him than what he currently has at Leeds, then, you know, I think that there's every chance that he could thrive and flourish into you know, a next champion goalkeeper. He may or may not become the replacement in the French team for Hugo Lloris. And maybe if Hugo Lloris was to hang around after his contract and become a goalkeeping coach, then it would be fantastic to have the two French speakers, you know, work together to let Hugo Lloris disseminate all of the knowledge and the experience that he has to the young guns coming through. So that's very interesting to me, and I don't necessarily really have anything too negative to say about it, apart from, you know, he's 22, so it's a lack of experience, a lack of too many minutes, I guess, to be able to see over a long enough period of time whether this guy is consistently going to be good enough. Time will tell. That's the risk you take when you have youngsters, and as Tottenham fans know too well, they don't always pan out as intended. But the other news, the other player, goalkeeper that has been linked with Tottenham over the last 24 hours is Jan Oblak of Atletico. Slovenian international goalkeeper, absolutely out of this world in my opinion. I think he's an absolute fantastic goalkeeper. He's 30 years old, and so he's still got the best part of 6 years on his side, and he is available for free at the end of the season. He is out of contract, and so technically in January he could sign a pre-contract agreement with any one of the number of suitors that he'll have. The top two names that have been linked with him in the Premier League, at least, are Manchester United, who are trying to find a replacement for David De Gea, and Tottenham Hotspur are trying to find a long-term replacement for Hugo Lloris. I think Newcastle were also linked with him last summer, but obviously that didn't happen and they went in another direction. And what makes me feel even more bullish about the opportunity for that potential free transfer, I say free transfer, but as we've spoken about before, free transfers often are not quite as free as we think they are. The players obviously inflate their salaries, agents' fees get incredibly inflated as well, and then performance bonuses and other ways of extracting compensation find their ways into the contracts of free transfers, and to the point where in the end it's usually about 60%, 65% of what the total fees of the transfer would have been had you been buying the player from a club still in contract. So the money, most of the money still leaves the buying club. It just goes in different directions than to the selling club traditionally. But one of the things that does make it more feasible and viable, in my opinion, is the fact that, come on Bob, we're going, that Jan Oblak, I think that his family in Slovenia have been talking to an outlet called, I wrote this one down and I'm going to butcher this one, FRASER. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly or not, but people connected to him anyway in Slovenia have said that it's even more likely to happen because Atletico Madrid are going through their own troubles financially, as are half the teams in Europe, half the teams in the world probably, more than half of the teams in the world, and that they probably are going to be unable to afford to keep Jan Oblak, and that they have found a suitable replacement that is far cheaper and in their eyes, you know, not too distant from the competency level in Emiliano Martinez from Aston Villa, who I believe is also potentially out of a contract at the end of the season, although I'm not sure about that, haven't checked that. So if Atletico Madrid are willing to let him go, and as of yet there's no noise around him signing an extension in the next few months, then maybe Tottenham are going to be looking in January to tie this guy up. They could maybe, not that I think they need to, but they could even maybe look to pay Atletico Madrid a small nominal fee to be able to take the player in January. I'm not sure that would happen, but maybe you have to kind of move quick if you think that Manchester United will gazump you in a one-off kind of contract battle. We know Manchester United have got, you know, endless pots of money, even though their financial results were just astonishingly poor from an optics point of view. How much money they wrote down on their player assets and how much dividends they took out this year, but they always find enough money to pay for new players and pay up on the wage bill. So maybe, just maybe, it might make sense to beat them to it by offering Atletico Madrid some money to get the deal done earlier. Who knows? Time will tell. Love to know what your thoughts are on the goalkeeper position. Who do you see as the next Hugo Lloris, the long-term replacement? Do you have a preference out of going for Jan Oblak or Illan Meslier? Or maybe there's somebody else out there that you're aware of that you think would fit the bill nicely and be able to gently come in and take over the reins from our talisman and monster in the name of Hugo Lloris, who's been such a steady Heady for the last decade in the sticks, in between the sticks for Tottenham Hotspur. In other news today, just how long have I been going for? Quite a long time. Last thing I'll say is a little bit of news coming out about Stefan de Vrij, and that Tottenham may be going after that guy. Once again, we're looking towards Inter Milan to try and supplement our defence. Obviously the Bastoni deal looks like it's not going to happen in January, and maybe something we persevere towards the end of the season. But with de Vrij available, his contract is out as well at the end of the season. Maybe, just maybe, he is another player that Tottenham could tempt with a small fee of, say, 8-9 million euros to pick him up in January. A brilliant player who never gets the credit he deserves. I personally think he's comparable to De Ligt, and on some level should be Virgil van Dijk's partner in the centre back spaces for Holland. But that's just my opinion. Let me know yours. Would you like to see Stefan de Vrij come in and give Eric Dyer some competition for places? He's only 30 years old, or 29 yet, I actually think. I'm not even sure if he's 30 yet. He's got 4 or 5 great years in front of him, and a player that would immediately, in my opinion, come in and improve our options at centre back. And by Jove, how we will need them as we move into the second half of the season and hopefully take on competitions on all 4 fronts. That's it from me, guys. Apologies for the particularly long video today. I hope there was enough content in there and you didn't get bored. Like, share and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I love you all. I will see you tomorrow. As always, guys. As always, bye-bye.